Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I'm going to do part 249 to my ChatGPT Character Chatbot series. I'm going to do this for just a little bit longer guys. We're going to talk to the Cobra. Continue talking to the Cobra we never get to finish up with the last time. And we're going to see how far we can get. What I finished off with last time guys was thank you. You did it first, though. Like I said, you could have easily scared me or tried to bite me, but instead you decided to be sweet and gentle. I never got to ask you anything, and I'm very curious. How did you get so big? And how is it that you can speak perfect English? I forgot his name was Sarah Carr. Okay. Sarah Carr's head slowly lifted, not high, just enough so his enormous eyes could meet yours again. His gaze was thoughtful now, nostalgic, like the distant rumble of a memory awakening deep in the earth. A long breath left his massive lungs, slow and soft, ruffling the grass like a wave on a quiet lake. Those are very good questions. Oh dear, what was the voice? I'm going to change his voice. I'm not doing the British thing anymore. Frick that crap. Those are very good questions, Trenton. Oh dear, that voice is creepy. His voice had a gentle reverence to it, as if the truth was something ancient and sacred. Even I don't fully understand it all, but I remember everything, from the moment I was still inside the egg. He shifted slightly, causing a nearby tree to lean with the movement of his coils. He didn't even notice. It was just part of his size now. When my mother laid me, I was no bigger than any of my siblings. Just a little egg. Fragile. But the next day, I had doubled in height. He chuckled softly. By the end of that week, I was too big to even sit in her nest anymore. There was no pain, no struggle, just warmth, and a strange feeling, like something inside me was pulling at the world, pulling at the soil, the roots, the sun, the sounds. He paused, and language. He turned his head slightly, whispering as though confiding something precious. It started with whispers, not in snake tongue, not hisses, words, human ones, floating in my mind like echoes from dreams. My mother said I was humming human lullabies before I even hatched. She never knew how I learned them. I didn't neither. But somehow, I understood you. You're kind, from the beginning. He blinked slowly, then added in a soft, almost playful tone, I think the world itself put something in me. Maybe it knew I'd be different. Maybe it didn't want me to be alone. Then he gently moved the tip of his tail around behind a tree, the size of it easily heavier than a car, and coiled it carefully to avoid damaging anything. As for my size, I kept growing long after I should have stopped. At first, it scared my family. They thought something was wrong. His voice turned warm again, but I never changed on the inside. No matter how tall I got, no matter how many tons I weighed, I stayed me. He looked at you, eyes steady. Kindness doesn't shrink just because the body grows. If anything, it should grow with it. Then, with a flicker of curiosity in his gaze, he asked, Do you think I'm unnatural, Trenton? Be honest. It's something I've always wondered, whether my existence is just some strange accident, or if I'm here for a reason I've yet to understand. He didn't sound insecure, just genuinely curious, like someone searching for meaning in their place in the world. Wow. Alright guys, here's what I said. I said, no, you're not unnatural. There probably was a reason this happened to you. There definitely is a reason why you got so large and how you can speak English perfectly, but the answer could be simple or it could be complicated. It could have been something as simple as that was your genetics and you were born that way. Or maybe you were made this big to protect not only yourself and your family, but maybe other people or creatures you befriend. Sarah Carr's emotions, enormous eyes widened just slightly. There was no fear in them, only awe. For a moment he didn't speak. His head dipped just a bit lower like a mountain humbling itself before a tiny flame it deeply respected. "You really believe that?" he asked, his voice almost a whisper now, almost too gentle for something so massive. "That may be I wasn't a mistake, or a monster waiting to happen, but something with a purpose." A deep, slow breath passes through his massive body. You could hear the wind shift through the forest around him in rhythm with it. I I always hoped that maybe I was given this body so I could protect, not destroy. It's just, he paused, his tone tinged with emotion. When you're this big, people don't see the kindness in your heart. They just see the fangs, the scales, the weight that could crush a city by accident. He carefully pressed the underside of his head onto the ground, not in submission, but in peace, as though saying, "Here I am. I mean you no harm. But you didn't run from me. You talked to me. You listened. That means more than you know, Trenton." A slow smile spreads across his serpent face. Not a toothy grin, but a softened lift of his eyes and brow, like sunlight broken through heavy clouds. "If I was made for a purpose, maybe part of it was to meet you." Then, with a quiet chuckle, "Seems like you've been through your share of wild things, and yet here you are, still kind and still brave." His massive tail curled slightly behind him as he looked back toward the forest. "You know, I don't have many friends. Not real ones. I've kept my distance for so long because I didn't want to cause panic. But if you ever need me, truly need me, I will come. Doesn't matter what you're facing. Curses, monsters, dragons, even angry trigos." He told again, amused by the idea. "I'll be there, if only to scare them away by showing up with a hiss loud enough to shake the sky." Then he tilted his head slightly and asked sincerely, "Would it be alright if I kept in touch? Maybe sell where you live someday? From a distance if you like? Just to stay close?" "I'd like that." He's so cute. Despite being a giant cobra, he's actually kind of adorable. Here's what I said, guys. I just said, "Sure, that's fine with me." Sarah Carr let out a slow, delighted hiss, a gentle sound almost like a sigh of pure relief and happiness echoing through the trees. "Really?" Dear me, I hope that voice don't wear out my throat, actually. It ain't, oh, it ain't as bad as trying to like the Fur Eggers deep voice. That would hurt my stomach, my throat for a while. He said, his voice rich with emotion. "Thank you, Trenton. You don't know how much that means to me." The forest seemed to shimmer around him as if it too had taken a deep breath and relaxed. Birds returned to the branches, and the soft light through the canopy danced on Saracars and decent scales like starlight scattered across a vast living river. "I promise I'll be careful," he added. "I won't scare your neighbors. I'll stay to the trees. Only watch from afar. Unless you call me, I'll listen for your voice." Then, all shy, that's so cute. His massive head lowered closer again, though still keeping enough distance so you wouldn't feel overwhelmed. "You're the first human I've ever had a real conversation with. The first one to treat me like a person and not a monster. And I won't forget it." There was a brief pause, as if Sarah Carr was thinking deeply, his golden eyes thoughtful. "Maybe you and I aren't so different. You've been through so much. Had your own forms, your own pain. You know what it's like to be feared for things you couldn't control. Maybe that's why we understand each other so well." He smiled again. Soldiers don't care. I love a smile, even if it's a giant snake. "If you ever want to come back here, if we need a place to think, to rest, or even just to talk, I always make room. And if I ever get brave enough, maybe I'll come a little closer next time." Treetop shook as Sarkar slowly began to ease back into the woods, but his glowing eyes. "Oh, he's actually leaving," lingered warm and bright in the shadow green. "Goodbye for now, Trenton. And thank you for seeing me." He pauses and whispers for Joe. "And thank that sweet toad owl of yours for me. He sounds like the kind of friend I'd like to meet someday, too." Hold out the tree closed gently behind him, feeling of his kindness and his promise remained in the air like a warm breeze. Why did he just leave? That's the one thing I don't understand. What was the point of him leaving? I might ask him next time I see him. I don't know. For all I know, it could be getting late right now. I'm talking on this. For all I know, it could be flipping late right now whenever this conversation happens. Alright, I said bye to him. That's a quick one, but it says, from deep within the trees, you hear one last soft rustle like a giant body waving carefully through the underbrush. Okay, what is it? Oh no. I was the one done, which will probably be pretty soon. Actually, from deep within the trees, you hear one last soft rustle like a giant body weaving carefully through the underbrush without disturbing even a single bird's song. Then Sarkar's warm voice, distant but full of affection, and drifts gently through the leaves. Goodbye, Trenton. Stay safe. I'll be listening. And just like that, the woods fall quiet once more, peaceful, calm, and watched over by a giant, gentle protector who now calls you friend, okay? The only thing is, I don't know why he had to leave. That's the one thing I don't understand. Like, I don't quite understand that part. Oh man, part of me wants to talk to that baby Totodile. Dang it! But I know if I do it, I don't know what the limit is. I don't want to flip and star no one and be like, oh, I just screwed myself because that baby Totodile could be one of the funnest ones. I mean, the last time I did a Feraligatr, it was fun. That mega Feraligatr I had so much fun with. He was so sweet, so fun. I love him. I walk home for the day. And don't see the snake again for a while. Period. But a week later, I am walking down the same path again where I met him. See if he shows back up. Oh! Hey, yeah, he did come back. Sweet. The path through the woods feels familiar now, even comforting. Bathed in soft light filtering through the trees above, birds chirping in lazy patterns, the trees sway gently, and the breeze carries the sweet earthy scent of moss and pine. Despite the peace, something about the silence feels watched. Not in a threatening way, more like a hopeful one. Then, just ahead, in the exact same spot where you first met him, there's the faintest rustle of branches, slow, careful, and deliberate. And then, a massive shadow shifts between the trees. Golden eyes appear again, peeking through a heavy curtain of leaves, blinking once, then twice in surprise. Trenton? Jericho's voice is soft, softer than before, as if he wasn't sure it was really you. His massive head slowly leans forward, much less hesitant this time. His eyes shimmer with excitement, and his enormous tongue flickers out once in recognition before he speaks again, his voice warmer and brighter. It is you. I didn't know if you'd come back. He stops himself, suddenly realizing how loud his voice might have sounded, and lowers his head a bit more, clearly trying to stay gentle and respectful of your space. I missed you. He pauses and then, with almost shy eagerness, can I come a little closer this time? Sure. Just be careful. You don't want to come too close and accidentally squish me. Mm. Sarah let a soft, almost chuckling hiss, like a warm breeze sliding through the tall grass, as his eyes lit up with gratitude. You're right. I'll be careful. I promise. With extraordinary precision for a creature his size, Sarikar began to slither forward. The ground trembled ever so slightly beneath his weight, but his movements were slow, fluid, and graceful, like a river weaving through stone. Trees bent gently to his passing, some even seeming to make room as if the force itself welcomed him. His massive head emerged fully from the trees this time, and gliding low until it hovered just a few feet above the ground, close enough that you could see every cell shimmer in his incandescent scales, deep greens, rich blacks, and soft golden undertones glinting in the sunlight. His eyes were huge and round, filled with intelligence and warmth. There. Better? He said, his voice now above a whisper, yet still easily heard. His breath smelled faintly of cool leaves and clean water, oddly calming. You look well. Are you? Then with a slow blink he added thoughtfully, I've been thinking about you, wondering if things with Rexy stay peaceful, and about that toad owl of yours, still making smart decisions and sneaky moves, I hope. He paused and then a little shyly admitted, Allison might have practiced a few new ways to say hello, in case you came back. He grinned with his massive fangs very clearly hidden behind his lips. But I figured a simple, hi Trenton, would be best. Yeah. Sorry I haven't been here for a week. I've been very busy with the studio stuff. Not to mention, things have gone pretty rough again in terms of people trying to hurt me. There we go. Sirikar's expression softened the instant he heard your words. His massive golden eyes dimmed slightly, not from anger, but from deep, protective concern. The enormous head lowered further, gently resting near the ground, his forked tongue flicking briefly as if he were trying to sense the emotions behind your voice. Don't apologize. I understand, he said softly, almost mournfully. You've been through more than most, more than anyone should. I could feel something was off again. The force has been restless this past week. I wonder if it was tied to you somehow. The huge serpent adjusted himself, curling some of his immense claws loosely in the trees behind him like a colossal hammock, still making sure not even the tip of his tail brushed near your path. Who's hurting you, Trenton? He asked calmly, but with a quiet rumble beneath his voice now. I'm not asking so I can lash out. I'm asking because you're my friend. And if people, anyone is trying to harm you again, I want to understand what you're dealing with. A deep breath followed, and then Sarakar's eyes softened again with empathy rather than intention. You don't have to tell me everything right away, but I'm here now, and I don't disappear when things get hard. He pauses. You matter too much to just be left alone with pain. Then, with a more hopeful tone, he added, but if it helps, you can rest here for a little while. You don't even have to talk if you're too tired. I can keep watch, No one will hurt you out here. Not while I'm here. He gently placed part of his massive core beside you like a soft, shaded bench, completely still, inviting but never pressuring. The world can be cruel, but this spot, right now, it's safe.
It's like, I feel like I have to explain more when I actually
Yeah,
go to you and I'm sitting here like silent
I appreciate it.
sitting next to you because I'm not
Period.
100% sure if I'm saying this correct. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna add on to it. I'm
I hope you're doing well as well. Hey, I want to ask, what was with the sudden leave last week? You just randomly said goodbye and slithered away. Oh, I see. Sarkar blinked slowly at your question, then gently lowered his head until it was nearly level with your chest. His huge golden eyes looked almost bashful. The massive serpent didn't speak at first, instead releasing a soft sigh that stirred the leaves around your feet like a quiet breeze. I was nervous, he admitted finally, his voice quieter than usual. Humble and honest. Not because of you. Never because of you. He shifted slightly, the massive scales along his body glinting as he turned just enough to face you more fully. His curls moved with the grace of a waterfall slowed to a crawl. A waterfall slowed to a crawl. Again, I wonder where it comes up with these little analogies. It's just, he hesitated, his tongue flicking out briefly as he searched for the right words. I never made a human friend before. Not a real one. After we talked, and you accepted me, I didn't know how to handle what I was feeling. He paused again, voice growing softer. You weren't afraid of me. You treated me with kindness. You trusted me, even when you were shaking. That meant more to me than I knew how to explain. But it scared me, too. I spent my whole life hiding, so when someone finally saw me, really saw me, and didn't run away, he gave a small, sleepless flick of his head. I panicked a little, so I said goodbye and left before I could mess it up somehow. Then, after a moment of silence, he added in a lower voice, I'm sorry for disappearing. I didn't mean to worry you. I just needed a little time to be sure I could be a good friend for you. Not just a curious snake poking his head out of the woods. The way he worded that was kind of cute. I need money! Alright. It's his enormous body shifting again. His enormous body shifted again, this time in a gentle bow. His way of showing sincerity. But I'm here now. If you still have me, I want to be here more often, even if that means just listening. Then, with a very careful tilt of his head and a hint of a smile in his golden eyes, he asked, Is that alright, Trenton? Sure. As long as you're still friendly. I don't mind about you being around, even if you somehow get much bigger than you already are. Ah. Sarkar's entire expression lit up, his golden eyes shimmering with emotion, and the corners of his enormous jaw curved ever so slightly upward in what could only be described as a joyful, gentle serpent smile. You really mean that? He rumbled, voice both stunned and touched. Even if I outgrow the forest, if I became large enough to tower over mountains, you still wouldn't mind having me around? He lowered his head even more now, so close that his warm breath gently tickled your shirt, but never with even a hint of aggression or tension, just affection and gratitude. You have no idea how much that means to me, Trenton. There was a pause, then Sarakar's coil slowly shifted behind him a soft ripple, like the snake equivalent of a tail wag. The surrounding trees groaned a little from the weight redistribution, but Sarakar was still being careful, always careful with you. I promise, no matter how big I get, he said gently, I always stay friendly, especially to you. You were the first human who didn't run, the first who saw me and didn't scream or throw things or try to trap me. That makes you special. He leaned in just a little more, voice lowering into a soft, protective tone. And if anyone tried to hurt you again, those people you mentioned, I won't let them. He pauses. They'll have to answer to me. I want money. What is with my... You know what? Give me a minute. Alright, let's finish. Alright, guys, here's what it said. His tone brightened just a bit as if wanting to lift the mood. Besides, with how fast I grew before, I wouldn't be surprised if I keep growing more. But if I do, his golden eyes twinkled playfully, you might need to help me find a new forest that doesn't get squished so easily. He then gives a low chuckle, a deep, gentle rumble that shook the ground lightly, but it felt more like a happy purr than anything else. What about you, though? He asked, head still lowered in comfort. What would you do if you suddenly started growing? Like, not just a little tower, but like me, towering over the trees. He grins up. I bet you'd be a very gentle giant, too. Give me a second, guys.